Yes, good point, Newman. Hey, everybody, it's the 27th of July, 2023. This is Plutus PBL live coding. We get together every week to keep building stuff or figuring out what are the barriers to building stuff. And we spent a little time just focused on setting up a Nix environment locally. This is one of the first challenges that everybody has to complete early on in this course if you want to be able to write Plutus TX code on your own machine. It's not required to do things this way, okay? Some people are developing a real preference for the Aiken programming language, for example, because they think it's more approachable than Plutus TX. And so if that's the boat you're in, that's totally fine. Other people are really starting to use Demeter's virtual environment for Plutus development. That's available too. But at the end of the day, it does feel really good to have a native environment set up on your own machine so that you can write Plutus TX code. I'm a true believer that it's not a, I think it's still worth it to know Plutus TX, no matter what you might hear out there in the world about Nix and Haskell, long story short. So we're gonna give this a try today. Now, right before we went live, Roberto, you were saying that you were reviewing the Plutus apps repo and you noticed some things had changed.
So I was looking yesterday at some at the configuration, the trusted builders and the substitutors, because it seemed the error message was around you're not a trusted user and stuff like that. And so I thought, okay, let's look at that. And I was looking at the Cardano Stack Exchange. And one of the things I noticed is that they, and this is a link, I think, of what I found. There's a couple of answers around this. And they talk about the IOHK cachex.org instance being defunct. And that you should change it to IOG, which is not, no, might not be this one exactly. There's a similar one, I'll find it. But then, so I went to the IOHK repo, let me find that one. And in the Plutus apps repo, the latest tag, which is, I think it's verified. I think it's, I'm pretty sure that means it's stable. It's 1.2.0, and the one that I had at least was 1.1, I think. Let me grab that right here. 36 tags, and the last one is V 1.2.0, and it was on March 6th, and it's verified. So I basically tried running it again. When I was running it before, the error message, and I'm sorry I don't have that right now because I don't even have Nix anymore, but it was telling me that there was some sort of Git file missing. And so my logic was kind of like, maybe it's no longer in that old version of Plutus apps, maybe it's a new, and there's some change. There's a change log here, which might clarify a little bit of that. I haven't read it. But once I changed to the this tag V1.2, and I ran Nix develop, it ran. It was running fine. Okay. But I remember last time I installed Nix, it took like a week to install. I think I did something wrong with my Nix configuration. So I was just kind of monitoring my memory, and it seemed to be adding a new Nix install over my Nix install. So I stopped it, I removed Nix, and I'm kind of starting again, installing Nix, and then I'm going to try this again.
Perfect. So it might have to do with the version of Plutus apps, and that's interesting, right? 1.2.0 came out in March, just as this course was going live. So in the course, we're still referencing 1.1.0, and maybe that's the problem. So that's certainly something we can look at. And I have a few other questions, just experiments we can try as we look back at the setup that Ares is working on.
Do you know, sorry.
Yep.
This defunct cache from IOHK and changing it to IOG, what does that mean exactly?
Yeah, so I noticed that Stack Exchange message is like 18 months old at this point, right? So this was a change that happened a while ago. Basically, you've got Plutus apps, which if you look at how many files and if you just explore it, it's a ton of stuff, right? And there's a ton of dependencies as well, whether they're from other libraries published by IOG or just more general Haskell libraries that you're downloading from somewhere. There's so much of that to install it all directly the first time you run Nix shell, that's the thing that takes forever, right? And I think it can still work. It just might take days.
Yeah.
And so what do? Well, you set up a cache where, okay, people aren't going to download and install every package individually. This cache is just going to provide a version of all that where it's already kind of built for you.
Okay.
And that needs to be provided from somewhere. And that's the URL you're seeing in these caches, right? So wherever IOG, or there's a few other URLs you see there, right? Wherever these caches are being hosted, for some reason, the address of that server was changed at some point.
Okay. So that's not exactly the same message. I'm gonna try to look for it, because it's not IOHK, it's IOG, the URL. But then does it make sense that if they change the cache, maybe some files are no longer included, and that's causing could be? Okay. I'm going to try to find that.
Right, because what they're caching for is a different version of Plutus apps, for example.
Right. December 3rd, 2022, I think is this one. Yeah, it's this one. December 3rd, 2022.
Let's keep these ideas in mind as we, Erez, are you willing to keep driving?
Yeah, absolutely. And thanks for all the support and you guys like doing the research and helping. It's awesome. I'll share a screen then. Yeah.
Perfect.
Let's see.
Okay. So we had your terminal up and running yesterday. And nice. This is right where we left off.
Yeah.
Excellent. Can you go full screen on that left-hand terminal just so we can read where we're at? And Roberto, does any of this look familiar from what you were seeing? Oh, you're muted, but sorry.
Yeah. That's the exact message. The error flake git file does not provide attribute dev shells something. And I think that was the message that I actually looked for in Stack Exchange. I didn't get that one exactly, but that led me to, you need to change the cache address.
So let's do a couple things. First, there's probably an answer to this somewhere. I just can't find it clearly. So one hypothesis I had after I was thinking about this yesterday is I can't remember if the transition to using Nix develop along with the provision of the flakes that we're using here, that might make the use of the caches unnecessary. Don't quote me on that yet. I just can't remember if that's the case. So there's a couple things we want to try here, okay? First of all, it sounds like this might just work better if we check out version 1.1.2, right? Or 1.2.0. That's what, Roberto, you mentioned before. So I want to try that. But maybe if we also keep having errors, we might just be able to remove the caches from the Nix config. And I think that'll be worth a try if we get to that point. So is it okay if we try those two things, one and then two? Okay. Erez,
Sure.
you're still in the Plutus apps repo on your terminal. So if you just click into there, press clear, or type clear. Clean it up, get status as before, just to remind us that we're on V110. Scroll up. Yeah. And so now just get checkout main. Get pull again, just because it's good habit. This probably won't help us, but it's good to do. And then let's do get checkout 1.2.0. Oh, V 1.2.0, sorry. Yeah, there we go. And just try Nix develop here. Let's see what happens. Okay, now we're still getting this "you are not a trusted user" message. We're going to solve that in just a minute. But let's see how far this goes, because it's a good sign here. And even if it is configured correctly, this step might still take a while. All right, I'm not sure how much time to estimate, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was still an hour or two. Still, we don't want to see that message where it says untrusted substituter. Okay. So can you exit full screen but leave this running?
Yeah.
And for anybody who has experience kind of watching this step when you run Nix shell, if you're looking closely, you might see that this looks a little bit different. Nix develop, I haven't done enough research to be able to explain exactly how it's different from Nix-shell. But as a user, I've noticed that it just feels better. And it's a nicer experience. So we might be seeing some of that here. Now, in your right-hand terminal window, you're already in this Nix directory. Give us an ls so we can remember what files are here. And there's that nix.conf, right? Just cat that for now, cat nix.conf. And you've got this line at the bottom that says trusted users, right? And this is where, as you opened up the Discord yesterday, when I was reinstalling Nix from scratch a couple months ago and setting this up, I knew I needed to go right back through the experience. There were some notes in the Gimbal Labs Discord where Mix and Juan and maybe some others were looking at the trusted users bit. And I'm just going to open that on my screen because I can't remember what I sent you yesterday. Right? Trusted users space equals public. So I don't know why you're getting that message ignoring substituter because you're not a trusted user. I don't know why.
In one of the links that I have, oh no, it's different. Trusted substituters. Cache.iog.io. No, that's the one I have.
I'm searching the Gimbal Labs Discord just to see if I can find this exchange that happened. What's that? Somewhere in the Plutus chat. Maybe. Thanks for bearing with me here. Here. For anybody who's curious, here's a Discord exchange that is relevant to what we're looking at right here. And Ares, my question here is, it looks like the trusted public keys. I'm just comparing the trusted public keys I see here to the ones I see in Discord, and they're not the same. Yeah, these are not the same. Looney Tools. What the heck is Looney Tools? But this worked in April. Okay. So here, we haven't invested too much time in the left-hand side. Can you click on the left and just scroll to the bottom and see how far it got?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, I mean, so it's still going, right? If we kill this right now, we'll lose a little bit of time, but really it would be nice to see this message without the warning that you're not a trusted user, because we really want these substitutors to work. So try this. Let's just kill that process on the left. Click on the left terminal window, Control C. And we can clear that. Okay. Then in the right-hand side, let's sudo nano that nix config file, and let's change it. Verification. Newman, I got you on Discord. Give me 1 second. Ares, are you able to access? Oh, Newman, I didn't have you as a Plutus PBL member yet. Now there's a whole bunch of other channels you can see. Ares, can you jump to the Zoom chat? For anybody who's wondering, there's like an auto emoji you can click in the welcome channel for Gimbal Labs to get the PPBL role. But I just gave it to Newman automatically. Ares, can you jump to this link that I shared in Discord a few minutes ago?
Yeah.
Let's just try this instead. Right now, you can ignore the trusted users line because we've got your username. But let's just pull all of this into Nix config and use this instead.
Okay. Oh, oops.
That's okay. You can type it again.
And then what was the last command I accidentally deleted?
Was trusted dash users. Space equals space, and then the name of your account on this computer. Yeah, so that's it. All right, let's write that out. All right. I don't think you should have to close the terminal windows, but let's do that too, just to make sure. Close
Okay.
both of those and then open a new one. So keep using the left just for PPBL. So you can CD into PPBL 2023 and then Plutus apps. Uh, 2023.
Oops.
All right, try Nix develop here. Okay. This is just a spacing issue like we saw yesterday. So in the right-hand side now, good. So at least we know it's accessing the new one. CD to that path right there. CD/etc/Nix. Oh, not there, not there. Leave this one in Plutus apps. We want to stay there. Okay. Open up Nix config. I can't remember if you needed sudo for this, so I've just been defaulting to that.
Yeah.
Remember, you need nano. You're going to open in a text editor.
Oh, okay.
Go full screen on this like we did yesterday so we can see the spacing. And basically what you want to do is everything trusted public keys. Go to the line that starts with iohk.cachix, right? And press backspace so that moves to the same line. Yep, same thing on the next line. Good. That looks good, but yeah, the start of this line, right? So it's basically after every equal sign, like substitutors, we want all those things in the same place. Extra substitutors all in the same line. So go to the start of that, up 2 lines, back once, down 1 line. Yep, there you go. Up 1 line.
Like
Nope,
that?
not there. Press enter there. There, backspace. Yeah, because you see what the expression says, extra substitutors equal this and this and that. Now we want the same thing with trusted public keys, right? We want all those to be on the ends of the extra. Yep, so go to the start of this line.
Extra. Okay.
Yeah. Extra trusted public keys equals this and Looney Tools. Okay. So now we've got rid of the extra carriage returns. Save this and try it again.
X.
All right, back to your other terminal.
What should I try now?
Same thing, Nix develop. Damn, so it got started this time, but it's still saying you're not a trusted user.
Is there like a pseudo Nix develop maybe?
Try it. Yeah, let's see if we don't get that message when you do it that way. That's a good point. That'd be good intel. Oh. You see that? So no, this time we didn't get any messages that were ignoring those untrusted substitutors. Cool.
Okay.
That makes sense to everybody what just happened there? Yeah, so this is a Nix users issue. This is, I remember that I solved this one for myself. I wish I could tell you how, and I'm sorry I didn't document it. You know, this is, but this is, the deeper I go with Nix, which is not very deep, the more I realize, I said this yesterday, it really is algebra. Like there's a reason for everything. Okay. And you can always just keep tracing backwards and just the error messages are good. They always point you to something that explains where the problem is coming from. And you can keep backtracking and backtracking. And that's how I got this working. But let's see, this is promising what we're seeing right here. It didn't ignore the substitutors, which is good. That means you have access to the caches. And I'm optimistic that this is going to open for you, but it still might take like an hour.
Okay. I'm wondering, why do I need to put sudo all the time? It seems like I know I'm the user of this computer, but why is the computer asking me to use sudo instead?
All right. So there's, every computer has a user called root, right? And no matter how many accounts you have on it, even if you have only one and you think I'm the owner of this computer, there's still a root access level that you can get to.
Okay, that's
In
the
most
exact
cases, sorry?
that's the exact case here. I only have one user on my computer.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
I was like,
Right.
it's a little strange, but that makes sense now if there's the root, like you're saying.
In almost all cases, you'll never notice this, right? But Nix handles users differently. And we don't quite have exactly the right setup here for some reason, right? Like, and this is where we could choose to go deeper here and learn about Nix user management. But you referenced time yesterday and the recognition that there's not time for everything. And so in the interest of just the pure limitations of time, I'm choosing not to go that route right now. Okay.
Yeah.
I wish I could tell you why yours is not working, because it does work according to the Discord message on your screen right now. At least on my machine, I have trusted users, and I have the name of my account on this computer. And for some reason it works for me. But we'll figure that. Oh, it stopped working.
Yeah, and sorry, just to remind you, I'm using the MacBook M1, so I know that that's also been causing a lot of. Are you on an M1 too, or
no? So now that's the next thing, but this is a solvable problem. Okay, go full screen on the left-hand terminal for just a second for us.
Yeah,
we made progress.
Yeah.
But then we got to this point, make naked shell, whatever that is, Cardano node had some problems. Okay. Now, hard to say whether these problems are precisely related to the M1 problem, but we know that there's a couple of extra things required in your Nix config file. When you are using an M1. And sorry, I didn't realize that till just now that you're on an M1 computer. So I didn't know that. Thanks for saying that.
Yeah, no worries, it's all good.
We need, where are those lines? I know they exist. Where, does anybody know the best resource for finding the additional lines that need to be added to git config on an M1? It's pretty straightforward. We just have to find it.
I have an answer from Cardano Stack Exchange from 4 months ago.
Ooh, that'll probably do.
This is the link. That's the setup. And all it says is the Nix conf is a little bit different. And then it says, don't do the garbage collector that Eris talked about yesterday.
Okay.
So if you look at the Nix conf, it
This
has,
looks good. Yeah, that's the system and the extra platforms lit params. Let's just add those and see if it makes any difference. Okay, so just the two lines, system equals and extra platforms equals. Let's start by, oh, wait, hold on. This is the question. Where's the answer? Oh, that's that, right? And that could also be, but yeah, in any case, you're going to need these two lines. Let's grab those first.
Wait, which ones?
Scroll down. There's a line that starts with system equals, and there's one under it that says extra platforms equals, those two lines.
Ones. Okay.
Copy those into your Nix config file.
Were we doing it on the right? Yeah, we can do it.
Remember, it's not, there's no IG on the end.
IG, what do you mean?
That's the wrong file name. Just add
Okay. That. Control X. Okay. Where should I add them? Just here?
Maybe add them above extra experimental features. Yeah, right there. Let's try that. Okay. Good. And notice that the error we had on the left-hand side points exactly to what you just added. Attribute Arch 64 Darwin missing. And we just added that. That's good. So let's try it again.
Yeah.
Tap the up arrow once on the left-hand side, remember? Left-hand side. Make that a little wider so we can read the logs. All right. So let's see. That's good. We just added the necessary parts for M1. Anything that was already successfully downloaded is now in your Nix store. So it doesn't have to do those things again.
Okay.
And we'll just see how far this gets. See how it's querying from the caches right now. Go full screen so we can really read those and try to understand this a little bit.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. What we just saw, it's pulling from the caches, which is a good sign. What else? What other questions do folks have while we wait for this to go through?
Okay. We got some errors here.
Good. Rear extras has no symbols. Dependencies of derivation. My first hypothesis is that there are some collisions in your Nix store with some stuff that's still there from earlier times. And perhaps we need to clean up your Nix store.
Okay. I found a link also that says something about
Great. Yeah, what you got?
just writing it up. Yes.
So the GC don't GC equals one thing. That's actually included in the course docs, and you'll come to that. But I don't think we have to resort to that yet.
Okay.
But stay on this page and go down to
1
where
second. I need to go to the.
Trevin was a PPL student, by the way. It's good to see him showing up here. I remember when he was doing this research.
Yes.
Can you scroll down a little bit right there?
Yeah.
A little farther to where you see the Nix config. Here you go. Now there's still some stuff here that we haven't added to your Nix config yet. Do you see it?
No, I don't see it.
Okay. Keep this window open. Grab the terminal window with your Nix config in it.
If you want to lie down and I need you to
Hold on. Okay, I'm in the middle of live coding it. Thanks. Okay. Sorry, my kids just got home. Yeah. Where are we right now? Sorry.
Open your Nix config.
Nix config. Okay.
Can we see your current Nix config file on the screen?
Yeah.
No, it's not open yet.
Yeah, I know I'm doing it right now.
Remember, there's no
yeah.
IG on the end of the file name.
Right.
All right. Make that a little bigger. You can make the font size a little smaller so it's easier to see.
Okay.
And then minimize the other terminal window, because our goal is simply to compare the file that you have
Ah,
with the one on the screen.
right. So, what would be a good? Let's see. What would be the best way to do this?
Just read from the top of this file and read from where it says on the GitHub and look for similarities and differences.
Okay, so build users group Nix build, that's there. Substitutors.
That's there. The links might be different, but at least we know we have substitutors, so that's good. Do you have
Yeah.
trusted public keys?
Trusted public keys, yeah, I do.
Do you have
But
system?
it looks different. System, yeah,
Do you have extra platforms?
yeah.
Do you have sandbox equals false?
No.
Try adding it.
Okay, just sandbox equals false or all of this here?
Well, you could keep reading and figure out what you have and what you don't have. And if you don't have it, add it.
Okay. So we have extra experimental features. Equal Nix command flakes. Okay.
Yeah. So it looks like you basically have those last two lines. This one has experimental features versus extra, but don't add Nix command again. Pause for just a second. You already have Nix command as an experimental feature. But yeah, it looks like these two lines are worth adding. Let's try it. All right, now go full screen again on the Nix config. Let's just make sure we didn't add any extra spaces like last time. It looks like we probably did. Yeah, so go to the beginning of that line. Oh, pause for just, hold on one second. Go up one line, go to the beginning. Yep, go to the beginning of that line, backspace. Good, now go down a line. Notice that extra experimental features is there. So press enter on the E. There you go. Now go up one line, one more. Yep, delete that backspace. Yep. And then go down to where it says Nix command. Just the beginning of that line.
Yeah.
The beginning of that line. And a backspace. Good. Now let's move trusted users to the line below.
Trusted, yeah.
let's save this and try it again.
Okay.
And can you just cat Nick's config for a sec, just to make sure that we didn't delete anything accidentally?
Yeah.
So it's cat nix.conf.
All right. Next.
And we still have the substitutors. Yeah, good. All right, other terminal window. Let's try Nix develop again.
Next develop.
Yeah, remember you were using sudo.
All right.
There's still that warning that says the tree is dirty. It might be worth it to figure out if that's a problem. But warning we would expect because you're using sudo here. That's okay. But look, we're right back to free or extras. That's good. So we're basically picking up where we left off and maybe getting up. What happened this time? Darn. Okay, what's the error this time? All right, so we updated the config, which is good, but it looks like you got to do a little bit of garbage cleanup too.
Okay.
So let's do that.
Yeah.
Try first just running. It doesn't, right? Yeah, right there is fine. Nix-store space -- GC. Go. See how it's just deleting a bunch of stuff from your Nix store?
Yeah.
It's a good thing. Because if there's collisions on any of these packages, yeah, and the longer this takes, the better of a move this is, because as you can see, there's a ton of stuff there.
Okay.
Great. This might really be the turning point for us.
Hey,
Hey,
Dan-
how's
Dan and I are back.
stuff? Wait, say it again.
just saying that Dan and I got into the breakout room and sort of worked over that React component thing. It was just a mismatch in export import. Yeah. And then we also talked that React, the tic-tac-toe React tutorial in the conditional formatting was good. I think I might jump over and start working that over. But I wanted to see, yeah. How's it going here? I see you're deleting. You're starting fresh.
We just ran nix-store -- GC, which stands for garbage collection.
Oh.
And so remember, we compared yesterday the way, say, Node.js handles packages by creating a Node modules folder specific to your project.
Yeah.
Whereas Nix, when you have packages, puts them all in a single directory on the root of your computer called nix-store.
Right.
The benefit of this is that if you're reusing a package, you don't download it twice.
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is that a lot of files start to collect in your Nix store as you use Nix over time.
Okay.
And if that folder gets too busy and crowded, it can lead to problems. And so sometimes you just got to clean up the garbage. And you can search for this. Nix store garbage collection is a good Google search because the documentation for this is really good. But we're taking a shortcut and just starting it here.
Okay.
But this is good. This is actually, this might be the longest I've ever seen Nick's garbage collection run for. So I'm really, really glad we're doing this.
Erez is like a superlative
We
garbage.
should have looked at how much free hard drive space you had before running this command and compared it, because it would be good to know that data point.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Hey,
think
could you
you can tell
paste?
us at the end how many gigabytes have been cleared. I think we did. I ran this.
Oh, cool. All right.
Said something like 20
Thank you.
gigabytes were cleared last time.
What?
So,
Hey,
yeah.
what was the command again? Could you put it in the chat?
Sure.
It might be pretty far up here. I'll just type it. Zoom autocomplete is driving me crazy though with this auto caps. Oh,
Oh,
out of here. Harshit's got a capital N too. Yeah.
nice.
Autocomplete. It's not built for developers. We like to start our sentences with lowercase letters sometimes. All right, removing stale links. What do you got? What's at the bottom of that window? We almost there. Deleting used links. Come on. What's the number going to be? Who's got an estimate?
Oh boy. I see gigs and gigs.
I'll go with 20.
We gotta go for 42, haven't we?
Man, that'd be a great moment.
Okay.
27. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Almost in the middle.
28. 28 is what's called a perfect number. Perfect numbers are very unusual. You could look it up. All right, let's try running sudo nix develop again.
Okay.
So now it's starting from scratch, or at least from earlier in the process. But you see it's working because it's downloading from the caches that we want to download from. So that's a good sign. My hypothesis right now is that the error we were seeing a few minutes ago before collecting garbage was that maybe there were some collisions between cached libraries and some that you already had on your machine. And the reason you would have some extra ones on your machine is that we've started this process a couple times without having the caches properly working. That means that you started to build those packages from somewhere else, and references to those were stored in your Nix store. So by getting rid of them, hopefully we eliminate those collisions. We can rely on these caches. And fingers crossed that about an hour from now, you've got Nix develop running.
Yeah. That'd be nice.
Hey, well, we're waiting for this. Can I have you show us just something else on the Plutus PBL website?
Yeah.
I love that skinny G logo comes through in the tabs. That's really nice. At the top of the page, jump over to the contributor list. And then there's a link at the top left to the commitment demo.
Oh,
All right. So as some of you know, we're just using a prototype of a broader set of contracts that we're building. And we're in the process right now of taking everything that's like in this site, right? And that you guys have been using the Plutus PBL site. It's not perfect. we saw yesterday, Erez was looking for a lesson and it was hard to find, right? Our navigation is not up to par with where it should be. But the reason for that is we've been focused on really kind of lesson content and creating stuff for people to play with. So thanks for navigating this clunky tool. The work that's in progress right now is we're extracting all of this. Okay, so right here on the screen is a list of projects that are currently approved for holders of the PPBL contributor token to commit to.
Oh,
These are the only things you can commit to. If you tried to commit, for example, to module 205, because you understand how this stuff works, and maybe you tried to go to Cardano CLI and build this transaction, not use our front end, you could try to commit to module 205, but Plutus won't let you. And I just wanted to start giving people a little preview of how some of this stuff works. And Eris, feel free to jump back to the terminal every minute or two just to see how we're doing. I'm just buying a little time to show you guys why it's valuable to get Plutus apps running on your computer, because I want you to be able to play with what I'm showing you here. Still good status over there. So there's a treasury supporting this course, and I don't think we have a way to see it yet.
oh man. I just love that. That's actually just, there is a treasury. Do we have a way to see it? You know, I've been in
Right.
this visualization, and this is so much a better visualization as opposed to there's a number somewhere. You know, like visualization and data visualization, analytics, you know, it's a real thing.
This is why I'm so excited that you're starting to hook into React, right? I think, you know, like everybody here, you're going to find that you love some things more than others. And some people are going to get really into maybe writing some Plutus validator logic. And others might get more to the React part and presenting that stuff. And the end goal is for kind of groups of people who have different strengths and different interests start building stuff together. That's where we're going. Okay. But yeah, like, I can't believe how exciting it is to be thinking through how to present this on-chain information. But I wanted to show you guys, and you can actually find this address yourself in the source code, but I'm just going to put it in the chat for now. Where is it? Actually, yeah, Eris, open up this link for us. Okay.
I'm wondering also, is it possible to see the treasury like through pool.pm or like Cardano
Yeah,
style?
that's what we're going to do right now. We just need to know what address to query. And so that's what we're going to do. Okay. And you can click on that dev stuff if you want to. But here, okay, this is the Git repo for the Plutus PBL website. And one of the files here is just a config file with a bunch of different Cardano stuff in it. It's got policy IDs. It's got asset IDs. It's got Cardano addresses. There's a metadata key there that does something, right? We have a Plutus script. Line 30 is like thousands of characters long, I think. Okay. If you scrolled all the way to the right, you would see it. There's a lot here. And all of this stuff shows the application how to talk to Cardano. What we want to do is we want the treasury address. We want to see what's there. And scroll up. It's above the escrow address.
Uh,
Yeah. Line 24. Now, I forget if Pool PM has a pre-prod view right now.
Should.
If this was mainnet, we could query that address, but we can at least use like Cardano scan, for example. So go to preprod.cardano scan.
Yeah.
Looking good. And let's just search for that treasury address. Okay. So we see a couple things here. First of all, there's been 80 transactions so far. There's 153 ADA, looks like, in this treasury, and there's a token. What token is it? Okay, we got some test gimbals here. But what about those projects? Where are those? And how does Plutus know to validate against those? Well, look at the last transaction, just that very top one. It looks like it happened 20 hours ago. I was playing around with it. You can see this. I spent my contributor token. Okay. And just click the transaction hash, EA518. Yeah. And go to the UTXOs tab at the bottom of the page. Okay. So this thing had a few different inputs. It had 3 different UTXOs in. And how many outputs did it have? 3. Right. You see how the top output is right back to this contract address?
All right.
Okay, same address. So we had an input from the contract that had 155 ADA and 8,652 test gimbals. But then we sent 2 of those ADAs and 10 of those test gimbals to a different address. And now look at how much was left in the treasury. 2 less ADA and 10 less T gimbals.
Okay.
So far, so good.
Yeah, okay.
Now, on the treasury input, there's some data. I can see the purple circle is how Cardano scan helps us visualize this. That's just a UX choice, right? But if you click on any of those purple circles, you can see what kind of data is attached to this UTXO. And in this case, there's some datum, and we can inspect it. This is our treasury datum.
Ah,
Can you read what's over there on the right-hand side?
so,
Maybe some people are starting to be able to. But go, Eris, do you have a favorite way to decode hex strings yet?
Isn't there the CVOR website or something?
You could use that, yeah, but we don't even, this is not even CBOR. So I just use string-functions.com if you want to open up one more new tab.
Sure. Strings dash.
Just no S, string-functions.com. And we want to go from hex to string. You can see the link at the bottom of the page. And copy any of those strings that's in that datum there.
Like that, like one of these?
Yeah, exactly. And let's just convert that to a readable string. And there's the name of one of the projects that you can see on the front end of the website.
okay, there we go.
Now, you might remember there were 8 projects, right? There were 8 projects on the commitments page, and that should be how many items we see in the list in the datum. See all 8 of them?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
There they are. And a lot of those are just the same length, and they all start with 4D, 6F, 64, 75, 6C. That's the word module,
Right.
right? And then 3, 3, 3, 0, 3, 1 is like the number 301, for example, right? 3, 2, 3, 0, 3, 4, that's 304 or 204, sorry. Okay, so this is it. And this is on chain.
James, I counted 9. Is there a reason?
The last one is, you notice, is not in the list.
Yeah.
So that's a separate field. There's the name of the administrator for this treasury.
Uh-huh.
Okay. So on the one hand, we see something that doesn't look too surprising on the front end. It's a list of strings, right? But what do those represent? They represent actual on-chain datum. And these are the only things that students of the course can commit to. And just for fun, I threw the last byte string into that list yesterday. You'll notice that it doesn't start with the letters 4D, 6F. If you scroll to the bottom of that list, 5050, that's PP.
Yeah.
What do you think 4C is?
PLB, PBL.
So there's a limited edition project that people can commit to if they've just never had the experience of committing to any of these, and you want to see how it works. And everybody's welcome to get the PPBL OG limited edition project in their contributor datum, just for fun. We're going to do some fun things with that, and this is not going to stay up here for too long. But what we want to do is start another, this is for an upcoming project where we're going to play with ways that you can give different sorts of access to people who have completed different sorts of projects. And this is just some dummy data that sets us up to have some fun with that project. Along the way, this might be your first time using this application, and we're going to continue kind of showing how this works. All right, that was like 10 minutes of buying time while the music starts to run. But does that raise questions for anybody? Oh, this is where we got to last time, up to free or extras. If we surpass this, we know we're going to be in good shape. Come on, get past there. Damn it. All right, why? Same place as last time. Plutus use cases, scripts, like, can we just get rid of that? Adrian, what would you do right here?
Can we maybe run the for full logs, run nix space log space nix store, whatever. Maybe that gives some more error messages.
Hey, Adrian, how do I do that?
There is one in which is written bigger for full logs. It's 2 lines above the error on top, the red error. And yeah, you're nearly on it. 2 lines above, 1 line.
This one?
Yes, exactly. Just copy that and paste it. I hope that gives some more error. Better.
Can you go full screen with this?
Yeah.
The documentation in this is so silly.
That's true.
I'm looking,
I keep going down or?
Yes, go down a bit. Opening. Can you go down a bit more?
That's as far as it goes down.
Oh,
Press
okay.
enter to see some more.
Ah, okay.
You just hold down the enter key and you'll keep seeing more lines.
Oh, okay, cool.
There's the end. Compiling control monad freer extras. But it runs into a problem there. What are we missing? Okay. Let's change. I think we might still have the wrong substitutors and trusted public keys. So let's. All right, we're gonna do a couple of things here. Number one, just remove full screen here and open up your Nix config file again.
Um,
Remember, we've been using sudo. I don't know if we have to.
uh,
And this time, if you go full screen on that again,
yeah,
just want to read that. Substitutors, cache. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's try. And Adrian, do you know what there's that branch that we've been using for some development work from Plutus app C4 F4. Why did we start using that branch?
There was an error with one of the GitHub repositories we needed for building it. It was not available because the guy, the owner of the repository, set it to private, but I think that it shouldn't be an issue now. I think that's up on GitHub.
That's just that's a story that
Yeah,
don't expect to
exactly.
hear. All right, hey, let's try this. Let's delete all of substitutors, trusted public keys, the extra ones too.
these ones also extra.
Yeah, let's just drop them. Get rid of them,
Extra
and then
trust-
grab what I just dropped in the Zoom chat instead.
Okay.
All right, and we gotta do the typical stuff where we take line, it just looks like the line that starts with cash. It needs to be backspaced once. That looks good. All right, let's save that and try that. But, well, okay. We're recording, and I might ask you to go back to this. Okay, because we don't have time to see this all the way through right now.
Yeah.
Okay. First thing we're going to do, let's just try running sudo nix develop again over here. All right, just go there and press enter. And just hold it down till you get to 100%. All right, again, or tap the letter Q, maybe. There we go. Clear this. And then try sudo nix develop again. Now this is going to go as far as it goes right now, and we'll see. And you may need to, this is the beginning of your next steps, okay? So you can review this video from right here. You may need to run nix-store-gc again to clean up the garbage. Oh yeah, look at that. Now I don't know if the reason, yeah, let's just do that. Let's just do it. Okay.
When we got that end message, I kept on imagining all of a sudden like an image of Jim Morrison like popping up and singing to us like, "This is the end."
Oh, yeah.
You made it. I have no idea if this is going to work for version 1.2.0 of Plutus apps. It might not. And this is great. We're due to update the Plutus PBL course as well with maybe a more recent version of Plutus apps. I'm going to write this in the chat, but please keep these notes somewhere on your device so you can review them later, right? Remember what we tried so far. What we tried so far is we did Plutus apps, and then we git check out the 1.2.0 in Plutus apps. Does that message I just sent right there make sense?
Yeah, and I'm wondering also for documentation purposes, is it possible to save the terminal, like everything that we've done in the terminal? That way we have like complete documentation.
I wouldn't call that helpful documentation, right? There's we don't need to see, for example, lines like this. What you need is the critical steps that we've done. And that's a good reason for doing the lesson the way we did today, is because as you notice, there were a few steps that we've been repeating over and over again. Okay. So make sure to go back through this video and write documentation for yourself so you know how to do these things. And these things have to come naturally to you. Okay. Yes, this is difficult right now. Setting up Nix, there's all sorts of headaches that you can have along the way. But let's also take this as a chance to start habits before we get to the heavy lifting stuff that we're going to be doing when we start designing Plutus contracts, right? Setting up Nix, yes, it's difficult, but the stakes are not as high as writing a smart contract that's actually going to be responsible for people's money, right? So let's just get a few things in muscle memory right now. So I just gave you this message and what you're going to try. Let's try this again. Sudo nix develop in Plutus apps. I'm curious if 1.2, no, actually, you know what? Screw it. Let's not even do this. Let's use a different checkout of Plutus apps. This is certainly more likely to work. And we still have to figure out exactly why this is the case. All right, so git checkout main one more time to go back to the start. And then what I just put in chat, there's a new tag. It's not a nice, easy to read tag like v1.2.0. It's just a hash of a checkout. But let's try it with this. All right, now you're on another branch. Okay. Now try sudo nix develop.
So what just happened there? So we got a new branch of the Plutus apps.
Yeah.
And you're we're just getting it. Maybe the issues with the Plutus apps, like all that. I mean, has it been refreshed or is it old?
100% has. Yeah.
Now we're talking.
And
Okay.
so with all of this software, and this speaks, you know, a lot of people are fast to, when you critique something, they jump to the conclusion that what you're talking about is incompetence. That is absolutely not this. I want to be really clear about that. Okay. There are notorious versions of Plutus apps and of Cardano Node and of all of this software that's being built that broke things. This time last summer, the term catastrophic failure became a meme of its own because Cardano testnet catastrophically failed. These things happen because the work we're doing is ambitious and unprecedented. All right. Don't let anybody ever try to tell you that this is a product of incompetence, because they're probably not the ones trying to do hard new things. Okay. But it's a headache, right? Because it's often going to mean that we end up with a notorious version of Plutus apps where there's this line of code where somebody forgot to make public some repo that they really needed to use, right? Now,
Yeah.
Do you feel stupid if you're the person who made that mistake? You're damn right you do. The people working on this project have high standards for themselves, right? But is every one of us likely to make a mistake like that? You better believe it.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you. Like, this is where our hands are dirty. We can see on the screen that Ares's Plutus apps is dirty, right? And
I almost felt
Yeah.
insulted.
right. Here we are. But we're figuring this stuff out. And it's not always going to be this hard, right? It's either everybody's going to use Demeter, or we're going to realize that we should all be building in Aiken, or this stack is just going to get easier to use, right? And
Yeah.
I swear it's delightful to use Nix once you got it working. I'm sorry that this is such a headache right now. But let's see. So we're going to close with this process running once again on Ares's machine. Hey man, can you put a screenshot in the Gimbal Labs Discord when this either gets to an error again or gets to a success stage?
Absolutely.
Just so we all know where you're at.
Yeah.
I'll
Hopefully the
try to
latter.
write back. Say it again.
Hopefully the latter.
Exactly. But from there, we'll try to go async on next steps. We're going to get this working. And I hope everybody understands my excitement to be past spending time on this, right? It's going to be really good when we actually talk about application logic and not just setting things up. But I think this was a necessary little detour these last few days.
Yes. Also, James, I'm wondering if because I have to go soon, if I close my laptop and then reopen it at my new location, will everything be okay, or do I need to?
No, restart it. Just if you have to close the laptop, what you'll do is just Control-C on this window right here to kill the process and then start it again. You might decide to run nix store garbage collect, right? Remember?
Yeah.
Your notes, nix-store space -- gc.
Yeah.
you might do that again.
Okay. I'll just let it run. I'll just go out for a walk or something instead.
Yeah. No, this is installing Plutus apps for the first time is a great chance to take a break. We probably should have led with that, but that's only once it's working. All right. Y'all, thanks for going deep. Let's try to get this solved async. And yes to building documentation. We might find out that tag C4F4 is what we should just replace in lesson 101. So there's some revisions upcoming to the course. But let's first see if this works.
All right.
Eris, thanks for driving. Everybody,
Yeah.
thanks for being here.
Thanks, everyone. Yeah.
See you soon.
Ciao, y'all. Bye.